Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7, and today is an exciting day because we get to see how they balanced Araminta. I'm just kidding, it's never gonna happen. Today we get to see the balance adjustments. Haven't seen these yet. These were just released a couple minutes ago, and let's just jump into it blindly and hopefully things are good. So I expect Mort, gotta be Mort, right? I also am thinking they might do something with Cowrick, but it might be too early for that. Araminta would be nice, but they pretty much forgot she existed. I'm hoping there's no Carrot nerf because I think she's just so fun to use right now. And I'm not really sure what else, so let's just jump into this here. I don't think we're going to see Luna, for example. 8 heroes, 2 artifacts. These schedules... the 8th. Okay, so that's in a couple weeks here. I'm so scared. Number 1, ML Ken. Come on, he had his time in the sun. We don't need this again. Operator Sigret. Oh my god. Holiday Euphine. Okay, that's good. I already thought Holiday Euphine was really good. Violet. Okay, I mean, I guess I have plus 15 Violet. I hope they solve his passive problem, and plus 15 in him. Elena, Sid, Mercenary Helga. See, this is, I feel scammed, you know? There's 8 heroes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They count Helga and Mercenary Helga as the same thing. So this is not a list I'm honestly super happy with. We'll see what they do. Like, to me, balancing like 2 ML5s at once. I mean, I guess a lot of people have ML5s. I just don't have a lot of them. Just feels kind of weird. Like, there's so many 4 stars. Like, I think that's what really should be focused on. But I guess we'll get into this. So, what an interesting list. Holiday Euphine, eh? Let's take a look. I really think she's good anyway. So they're doing Shepherd of the Hollow and Doctor's Bag. Okay, I think I have Doctor's Bag. Don't remember what Shepherd of the Hollow is. So what does ML Ken do? Dragon's Flame is 30% ER. And when the Coming of Asura is available, increases combat readiness of the caster by 25%. Interesting. So basically... this just makes it so he gets a combat boost and he takes more turns and can be slow. 30% ER is actually pretty massive. Really massive, actually. Also, 80% chance to decrease defense. Does that go up to 100% now with Molagora and stuff? I'm not sure. And a successful attack will always result in a crit. Okay, so that's a pretty big change, right? It makes it so you don't necessarily need to have crit rate because you're going to be critting with this. It's also going to help boost them up a little bit more, because you have to remember, if he gets a 25% CR boost, like, that's a lot, right? But ML Ken, really? Interesting, ML Ken. So let's take a look at Sigret. Honestly, Sigret skills confuse me, so let's read them together here. So Annihilation before... batters the enemy with a scythe, grants an extra turn when the enemy is defeated, penetrates the target's defense by 50% or 100% when the target is granted a barrier. It now does speed scaling, which is cool. That's always a boost. And Obliterate Awaken calls in drones with a 100% chance each to decrease buff durations by 1 turn before decreasing CR by 20%, increases attack of all allies by 20%. And when the target is granted a barrier, ignores ER. Okay, that's really good. That's really, really, really good. Yeah, that's really good because it's going to decrease buff duration 100%. And yeah, that's really good now, right? That seems really insane. And also speed scaling as well. Interesting, interesting. Let's see Holiday Euphine. So, just 1 bite, 75% chance to burn for 1 turn. Okay, so it's just 15% boost to burn. I mean, that's good as well. Let's Eat Together, which is the one, I don't know the names, I know what they do though. So reduces the effect, okay, it reduces the effect. So now, before it was 50% evasion, when the caster is at max HP. Now it's 20% and increases evasion by additional 50% when she's at max health. So it's 70% now total at max HP, and then everything after that is 20. That's a pretty big buff. Then for Yufien's special, Soul Burn change is pretty big. That's really, really big, especially considering this is a 10 soul burn. That's pretty big too. Unfortunately, none of these are like... I really like seeing one massive change per, and none of these are really massive change. Like, a lot of characters need an overhaul, and that's kind of what I like to see from these. At least one of them to get something like super spicy instead of like 5% here, 5% there, you know? But this is a pretty good change. I do really like this. I already thought she was good before. Now she's definitely better. And, ooh, I forgot about Violet. Okay, let's see Violet. So Graceful Cut, 75% chance to decrease attack for 1 turn, and when it's Gnostic Caster's turn, CR by 15% and gains double the amount of focus. Okay, that's really good. And what is Duel Accepted here? Prepares for a duel by dispelling 2 debuffs, granting Perception? The heck? Oh, Perception. Increases critical hit chance and critical hit damage by 15%. Cannot be dispelled. What a weird... what a weird thing. Before granting health. Weird. Also acquires 3 souls. That's pretty sweet too. Wait, does that mean he loses evasion? Oh, it's on the next one. Okay, I was like, that's not fair. Okay, so I think that actually fixes my problem, right? So Butterfly Cut now pierces the enemy with a sword. When it's available, increases evasion by 30%, and after successfully evading, counterattacks with Graceful Cut. Okay, so that's pretty good, right? Because that's good, right? I feel like that's really good. That seems to be a pretty big change. The evasion rate stays the same, basically makes it so you're not punished by Molagoring this, which is great because it helps you cycle so much better. And it also acquires more souls, better for manual, and Perception is interesting. Like, this doesn't feel like much, but at the same time, it's basically permanently on him, right? Because you can't dispel it, and he's always going to cycle. It seems weird. I mean, I guess you can't counter this by unable to be buffed? No, because it dispels 2 debuffs. Seems weird it's not just like a passive, you know? Like, just straight up gets it. But I guess they want to start using the keyword Perception. So, pretty sweet buff. I'm really happy with this and definitely plan to be using this. So, wow, massive change to Elena here. Decreases the damage received by 20%. I mean, that's what I call 8 heroes being changed. LOL. Oh, it's also a little bit more. Okay, slightly better. So this gives her Magahara's Tome, or at least partial Magahara's Tome as well, so it doesn't force you into using it, which is pretty sweet. And what does Sid do here? So Sid, when the caster is granted increased speed, use Whirlwind instead of Relentless Strikes. Whirlwind attacks the enemy repeatedly, decreasing defense for 1 turn. Damage dealt increases proportionate to the caster's speed. So they're changing his passive, or whatever this is. Oh, it's so weird laid out like this. Like, I know what things do, but like, it just is so weird with stuff moving everywhere. A critical hit will increase the caster for 1 turn, with a 100% chance to grant a random buff for 1 turn. That's really fun. That is really, really fun. The buffs are increased critical hit damage evasion. Okay, the random buffs are sick too. They're not just like crappy random buffs. So basically what this does is makes it so his defense break is more consistent, and he gets a random buff, which is very likely going to help him out. All of these help, which is great as well. And also his Molagora, does lower the damage a bit, but it probably makes up for it for sure. So, interesting. What about Helga here? So Helga has a 60% chance to decrease defense for 2 turns. Instead of extending buffs? Isn't extending the buffs kind of... Oh, I'll read Mercilary Helga. Maybe that's what's going... Yeah, there we go. I was like, what's going on? That's like the fun part about her. So, Strongly Sam, 60% chance to decrease defense. That seems really good, right? 60% is a lot on a skill 1, especially good for PvE as well. And now it also increases the CR of the caster by 50%. That seems pretty good too. And the wedge rune before, that's where the defense break was before. And now when using attack chain, which is the defense down one here, if all... Okay, we had to fit that in there. So it's 100% chance to decrease defense, I believe, because of Molagoras, if it's a full Earth LE team. So, interesting. So what did Doctor's Bag do? I know it wasn't good. So dispels 1 debuff from all allies and recovers 20% of each ally's max HP after using non-attack skills 3 times. Right. So now it dispels 1 debuff from all allies and recovers 14% of each ally's after using a non-attack skill. Can only be activated once every 3 turns. Okay, so basically this lets him do this turn 1 and then procs again after. And before you had to use 3 and then it procs and that's it. So it's less of an effect, but honestly, you're probably using it for the dispel anyway. That's pretty good. I really do like this. And what does Shepherd of the Hollow do? 20% evasion. Whose artifact is this? Damage dealt increases by 20% if the caster is probably Charon's, right? So now 20% evasion. Why is it in red here and green here? It's the same thing, right? Damage dealt by 12% when attacking. And as health decreases... Okay, so it basically just makes it so you always get a damage boost. And I'm assuming after you hit 50%, you're going to be at the same 20% you were before. So that's pretty cool. Okay, this isn't... Nice. This isn't the most exciting balance patch I've seen. This is kind of frustrating to me, you know? Like, implement changes to 8 heroes, and it's actually like 7, and then like some of the changes are really small. But ML Ken, this seems like a pretty good buff. It allows him to be more aggressive, I guess, with the CR boost. And allows him to build so he doesn't have to one-shot things, I guess. As for Op Sigret, this seems insane, right? Like, she was already good, and now she's, like, super good. Holiday Fiend, again, same thing. She was already good, now she's just a lot better, and I think this is great. I think the Soul Burn is super, super, super great as well. Having it cost 10 souls is amazing. I use Euphine a lot. I really like her. Violet's is actually pretty sweet too. I will be trying this out as well, because getting double the amount of focus and the 15% CR, I think that's going to allow him to cycle quite a bit and really become a problem for people. But one of the problems for people is a lot of people can't be counterattacked. And Carrot. Carrot is going to just destroy Violet. But I will still try him. I do have him at plus 15. I love the character. So, yeah. Elena is doing Elena things, I guess. Sid. I don't use Sid, so somebody else can let me know what this does, but I feel like with his imprint and this right here, random buff, that seems to be really solid, because he's going to be able to use crit damage, he's going to use effectiveness, he's going to use evasion, he's going to use debuff immunity. Those are all really, really, really good buffs. As for Helga, sure. I mean, that seems okay. Doctor's Bag. Still kind of interested to see how this works. But 1 debuff from all allies, right? Right off the bat. That seems pretty solid. And then after that, in about like 4 turns, you'll be able to do it again, which seems okay. But I don't know if it's going to be like controllably consistent enough. But I guess we'll see here. Shepherd of the Hollow, it just seems like... Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. So it was a change here from 20% to 20% because this altered with the level of the artifact, I think. But this doesn't seem to really do anything. But it's still good. I guess an alternative to MLDB. So I'm going to do one refresh here. By the way, if you want to see my new keyboard, I just hit the refresh button. It looks nothing like a refresh button. And maybe some super awesome blueberry milk I was drinking. Check out my Twitter. It's in the link description below. I just want to check for comments here. It looks like we have quite a few now. So OP Sigret buff out of nowhere when she's already... Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. She's already... There's so many characters that need help in this game. Like, I just don't understand that decision. No says either. So this is actually kind of telling. So on the stream, Mashu and Nu hinted that Says could be on it, and then they said they didn't actually know, which is one of those things where it's like, yeah, you don't actually know. But I honestly think they actually don't know. So that's kind of telling how much the KR side is telling the global side. And that was like 2 days ago, right? Waiting for Luna buff. I don't think Luna needs this buff. I'm gonna get a lot of hate here. I think she's really fun to use. I think she's really good for PvE. And I think she's got her little weird place to play. Obviously, I would love a buff for her. I have a triple S Luna like a doofus, but I don't think she super needs it. ML Ken almost nerfed. Carrot nerf nowhere. ML Ravi buff. You literally buff the units nobody asked for in a way, again, nobody asked for. ML Ken buff. Thanks for Violet's nerf. Is that a nerf? Is that a nerf? I'm gonna have to read that again. It's really hard to see for some of these things, like on paper and in practice how it works, because I have my Violet plus 15, and a lot of people gave me crap for it because it means you have less turns counterattacking, but at the same time, it's so good to keep that buff up, and it's so good to just like always have that heal, and then it cycles Butterfly Cut as well. So I think it was like an okay thing to do. So like, how often is he gonna have evasion up before, right? So before, if he dual accepted, which was his first turn he was gonna do, he was gonna have evasion up, and obviously he'll have the counterattack with graceful cuts. Before gaining 1 focus. So now he doesn't gain 1 focus from this, but he gets double here. That's the same amount of focus you gain, right? And then how often is he going to have evasion? Because that's obviously like the really important part. So when it's available, increases evasion by 35%. So that's not very much, right? Or is it a lot? I don't remember the cooldown on this. But yeah, it is going to give him 35% evasion right at the start of the battle, which is the most important turn. And you're also going to be cycling Butterfly Cut more, which means you're going to be cycling Dual Accepted more, which means Butterfly Cut is going to be up more, right? But I'm not sure what this ends up with, because I feel like he's going to have a lot of turns without any evasion or counterattack, and that's always been the problem with him, right? Because he just dies then. Really curious buffs. I think they made some odd decisions this time. And if you would have told me to protect a bunch of heroes that may or may not get buffed, I would not have picked ML Ken, especially right after everybody already used their selection ticket. I would not have picked Operator Signet. I would not have picked Holiday Euphine. I think she's fantastic already. I would probably have picked Violet in one of my choices. I would not have picked Elena because I think she does what she does already, and I would not have picked these two because Sid is one of the very few 4-star units that's actually good. Really wild that they decided to go this route. And I guess we just wait another month for other things. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everybody.